Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to another Prepare to Repair show, which is, as always, powered by Ferguson Supply, Kitchen and Bath and Lighting Showroom, located in Tinley Park. Whether you are doing a minor facelift, kitchen and bath remodel, Ferguson has you covered. And also RJ Graham Plumbing. Today on my show, joining me on today's show. It's a Bears
yes, sir.
Bears Monday, if you will. Joining me on the show is Tyler Libersher with TL Renovations. It's Monday, man. I'm telling you. He is a painter and general contractor located, or you're out of Joliet, correct?
Correct.
Okay, you can't nod. You got to talk. And he has been a general contractor. You've been doing this for what, 7 years?
7 years now. Started the company when I was 22, and 7 years later, just absolutely love what I do.
Excellent. Well, and it seems that painters are extremely difficult to find, good ones. So yes. When I met up with Tyler here, I wanted to bring him on, and I've seen your reviews, and I've seen just people talking about you and what a great job you did. And I was like, I had to, reach out to you to bring you on. Unfortunately, yes. I was able to see you on a job where I was doing work at one of your,
at my apartment.
Yeah. So I was glad to be part of that. So,
absolutely.
Thank you for being on the show, because there's a lot of information that we want to give out to homeowners regarding painting. It's one of those things we were talking off the air about. It's one of the most simple jobs that are extremely difficult to do, if that makes any sense.
Yep. So painting is the easiest thing to talk about, but it's very finicky as soon as you get to doing it.
Oh yeah,
because you got so much dry times to respect, the millness layers to respect. And
you're just losing everybody with the millness, because honestly,
right,
people they just slap it on the wall.
So the painters are the ones that have to know how to do this stuff. Now it's up to the homeowner to hire the right painter.
Okay, well that's what. Yeah.
So you kind of just leave that stuff to the painters, but you got to ask them all the proper questions.
Right, because honestly, most people when they're like, "Well, I'm going to go and get tape. I'm going to go and get." Dropped. Well, are you going to get cloths, or are you just going to wing
their
it?
Brush and roller. So that's really what people imagine, just their brush and roller, and they're just putting the paint on the walls. They spread it out, make it look even, right? looks great from 10 feet.
Well, what
looks
about,
good in the pictures.
Do we have to cover any holes? No, paint will cover the holes, right?
No, yeah, you just paint it in. So
really, does it work? I mean,
no way. So
I don't paint. Yeah. I mean, I don't paint, and when I do, it's extremely bad. It's horrible. I'm telling you, it's a train wreck. It really is.
Yeah,
it's just,
so you definitely want to do it at least once or twice on your own home before ever doing it, because then you're gonna learn your lesson.
Oh, I didn't say I didn't do it.
I'm a lazy on your own house, right?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you. I painted my garage. My first house, I painted my garage. Right, exterior. I didn't tape off anything. I painted everything, including the windows.
That's always everyone's first mistake.
My wife goes, "Why didn't you cover the windows?" I could just scrape them. She goes, "Okay." I'll tell you, I spent a long time scraping. I think a couple of them I just replaced.
Yeah, you just ended up replacing them.
Yeah, just before we moved. It was bad. My neighbors were probably thinking, you know what? This guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
And honestly, I would have, they would have been absolutely right.
Yeah.
But, my wife doesn't let me paint.
That's the way you learn. But when you're hiring a painter, you don't want him learning on your house.
No.
That's the biggest thing is he's charging you money for a service. You want to know how many years he's been in the business.
Right.
What kind of team he's got behind him. What kind of equipment is he bringing? What's he going to be doing to prep your house? Whether he's sanding the walls, taking off the outlet covers. Very minor details, but...
Hold on, you got to take the outlet covers off?
Yeah. Outlet covers, switch covers. Take them all off, put them in a nice little bucket for when you're done and the paint's dry, you stick them back on the wall.
All right, hear that, Steve?
Paint sprayer goes buzz buzz.
Steve, we were doing it. Yeah, I mean, what do you need to do all that?
Paints everything.
Yeah, you need a paint sprayer.
Right, so if you're talking interior painting, you don't want him in your house with a paint sprayer. So when you're talking walls and ceilings, you don't want him to be spraying it.
We sprayed.
That's all brush and roll.
We sprayed.
Yeah, how'd that turn out?
Everything's white.
Yes.
Yes,
yeah.
everything. Everything is all one color.
Yes.
Bed, TV, white.
Exactly. You know, scrape the screen. It's okay.
Probably wear your respirator. It's fine. Just hold your breath while you spray, right?
No, you put your shirt over your mouth.
Oh, yeah, the shirt, bandana. Those are the quality guys.
Seriously? We did our best.
Yeah.
You know what?
That's
It's that kind of criticism that hurts people's feelings.
Yes.
Words are like bullets. You hurt my see?
It's what people need.
Exactly. See,
now so they don't have that first experience of replacing windows just because you painted onto them. Well, they got fancy little gadgets called paint maskers, hand maskers.
He's just so you hear him criticizing us, Steve? Yeah. You know what?
You should invite me over sometime.
Oh, not that.
Want me to criticize your house in person?
Oh, it was bad. It was really bad. But anyway, we learned from it, and now we don't paint anymore. So that's why. And then
sometimes it's more efficient just to hire a painter. Because then, you know what? One window probably costs as much as it did to paint your garage.
I just want to let you know my wife is listening right now, and she's been giving me a ton of crap about this for years. And you're just helping.
Yeah.
I want to thank you, buddy. Thank you for coming on, and you know what? And just making my next week a nightmare.
You're welcome.
Because I did this on my own.
Yeah, you probably have to go behind and fix it still.
You're just poking it with a stick.
Hey, I'm happy to help to guide you through to fix it, but as for hiring someone to fix it, you're on your own. And that's always the problem with hiring painters. Sometimes people learn it after they do it, and then they think they're going to hire a painter to fix their work. That's when things cost a lot more money.
Yeah. Well,
where it's like you at least get quotes before you start the painting.
Well, I think, just all joking aside, it's because I like vehicles, and I like old cars, and I had cars that needed body work and needed paint, and everyone that I talked to, it's the painting is the easy part. It's the prep.
Correct.
Everything is the prep and getting the surface ready, because once you get that down, then once you lay the color down, that's what makes you look like a genius. That's what makes you look really good.
It makes it look easy.
Exactly. And I think that's the key thing is the work behind it.
Yes.
That needs to be addressed on that. Yeah. And a lot of people, I think that's the variable that is going to set apart the companies that are the good ones and the ones that are just coming in and, doing it like we did it.
Yep, exactly. So when we paint a house and the day we're taking out masking, there's very minimum dust to vacuum up around the baseboards. Just because the way you prep it with your plastic, draping over all the furniture, push your furniture to the middle of the room, drape it with plastic. As a customer, homeowner standpoint, you always want to handle your own electronics. Never leave that up to the painter.
No, you
never leave that to the painter to unplug your stereo systems. All that stuff alone is way too much money to leave in the hands of someone to come paint your house. Well, no matter how good they are.
I would think that you would do that anyway. I mean, even when we go to people's houses, I try to have them move whatever stuff that they had out of the way because I don't want to be responsible for anything being moved or broken or anything like that.
Correct. And that's something very important that homeowners forget to do is move their own objects.
Right.
And because they see it as it's no problem for the painters to shift it. But there might be a scratch on there previously that you don't know about. And then now someone else handles your stuff and you're like, oh my God, I think they scratched my thing or bent. Because you know your decorations more than us. Right. So you know what's fragile, you know what's expensive. Us as painters, we're coming to do our job. So we respect your home, but when it comes down to decorations and figurines, don't have your house set up as if you just woke up and left for work.
Yeah, you got to move everything.
That's such a big thing for us house painters, that just move your own objects, because that helps us out so much. It keeps them happy, and it keeps the homeowner happy too. Right. To know that their valuables are safe. Leave it up to the painter to cover everything in plastic. You don't have to cover stuff in plastic. Leave that to the painter, because that's their job.
Right. Well, we're gonna get into it and talk about just all these little things that go into it. I mean, because we talk about on the show a lot about hiring quality people, how to get them. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why this show even, I do this show. I started out as giving information on social media, and wanted to, continue that, and finding, good people, because as I was discussing last week, I had Matt Perron from Floor for You.
Yes.
Is when people are getting work done, a lot of this stuff isn't cheap.
No.
It's not cheap. To get it done right, it's usually a pretty decent investment.
Yes.
So you really have one shot at it.
Correct.
Because, and if you go and if you have somebody who is going to put in flooring and they don't do it correctly.
Correct.
And Matt was saying, he says, you can't just take this up and put it right back down because it's already been cut. There's nothing you can really do with it. You're out the material. Same thing in your end. If, you pay somebody that does a bad job, you've got to redo it because if there's drips, if there's runs, if there's
correct.
If they painted the window.
So the very first step is when you go to hire painters. The internet is at the tip of our fingers.
Right.
Is to research companies. You want at least 3 bids. If you're hiring something for over $1,000,
right?
And it's a valuable investment for yourself, you want 3 different bids.
Okay.
A lot of people will just call one guy, see a bunch of red flags, and just go with it because they feel like they've wasted their own time. But really, you only waste your time when you get a bad job. So do your due diligence in the hiring process, because there's plenty of questions that we can talk about to go over.
Right, that's
when
what I was
the painter's in your house. So, before he even gets to your house, you want to look up all his reviews.
Right.
So there's too many sites to not have a review out there. You got your Facebook, which is, a stamp, and then you have Better Business Bureau, Angie List, Google.
Right.
If they have no reviews on any of these, that it's not your painter.
Well, I think that, you're touching on a lot of that stuff is a lot of people don't know enough about this. Again, it's the simplest thing that is the most difficult to do. And a lot of people, when it comes down to finding people, then they'll look on social media, and when they look at that, they're taking referrals. They'll say, anybody, I'm looking for a painter, anybody have suggestions? A lot of times the suggestions that they get are, and I've seen it with plumbers, they didn't even check this out. I know they didn't check it, because if they would have Googled the plumber that they're recommending or checked the licensing, I promise you they would never have used them. Yeah. They wouldn't even be saying anything. They would be as quiet as a church mouse, because they would be so embarrassed that, one, they used that person, and 2, they would have realized that this person is not licensed or the background that they have. So I've watched them, like, you guys need to Google. Yeah. Because, like you said, you're absolutely 100% correct when it comes down to, in this day and age of just the electronic footprint, you being out there as a business, you are going to have some sort of electronic footprint, whether, it be on Facebook, Yelp. I mean, I'm not a big fan of them.
Yeah.
You have Google, you have Angie's List, you have House, you have,
Yeah, so every contractor won't be on every single one, so they're not going to be on all of them.
No,
but find what they are on.
Or even when you Google itself, you get all this stuff that comes up.
Correct.
It's a whole little history of it.
Because people are not afraid to leave bad reviews. That's when they flock to the internet. It's hard to get them to leave us a good review, and they're far and few between. But, so we get a ton of verbal, great reviews, and then, they'll talk all day about dropping it on your Facebook and never do. Well, so that does happen. So,
but that's not necessarily a bad thing if they refer you and keep calling you, and
that's the best thing you can do. Exactly,
and that's what Facebook is, or social media is a modern day word of mouth.
Yeah. So you can't expect every company to have hundreds of reviews.
No,
is what I'm getting back to, is that you can't just expect them to have a laundry list of reviews.
Right.
But if they have at least 5 to 10, like, maybe even verify it, because on Facebook and Google, you're able to click on their account to see if they're even real reviews. If they have a couple of reviews and just, blank 5 stars, well, maybe that's not really a real customer.
Well, we're going to go over that a little bit. We're going to take a quick break. I'm here with Tyler Libersher with TL Renovations here on the Prepare to Repair Show on 1340 WJOL. Welcome back to the Prepare to Repair Show. I am your host, Plumber Steve, with RJ Graham Plumbing, and I'm back here with Tyler Libersher with TL Renovations. I said TNL before, I misspoke, and Tyler here corrected me.
Yes, sir. I don't want to see that happen again.
And before the break, we were discussing just finding how to find people, and that's pretty much, I'm glad that you kind of brought up some of that, because that's pretty much what I kind of stress, and I beat that pretty much, beat that drum all the time about, finding people and getting good people and how to do it. And it's really, a lot of this stuff is really, it's, once you start knowing what to look for, it's one of those things that you can't unsee.
Correct.
Because a person that's been around for a while is going to have that footprint. They're going to have it.
They're going to walk you through the process.
Right.
Once you call the right guy.
Just finding them.
So once you find them, and
that's the hard part.
So that's the hard part, and you want to judge them off the whole scenario from the very first time you call this guy.
Right.
Does he answer his phone? Did you leave a voicemail? Did he call you back? Was he prompt? Did he schedule you right there on the phone, or did he say he's going to call you back and never got back to you? Because these are the very footprint of hiring somebody.
Right.
So as soon as you call this guy, leave him a voicemail, you don't hear from him, so you call him again on Monday, say, oh, maybe he was busy. Call him again on Monday. That right there is your first red flag. Right. That this guy just isn't interested. He's too busy. So you got to kind of expect that from someone that doesn't respond to your calls.
But it can go the other way if they're way too eager to come out, and I can get out there tomorrow. So and,
that's the guy that they can start tomorrow.
Yeah,
is you need to chill him out and say, no, we got to do our estimate first. I want to talk to my wife about it, or talk to my husband. So you got to slow him down sometimes. If this guy's too eager to get to your house, slow him down.
Well, even if there's not that, I mean, I always say, just pump the brakes, go, okay, I'm getting my estimates. I want to compare everything to get, to make sure what I'm getting. And I also want to review everything so I can ask the right questions.
Yeah.
Because once I review these, there may be some price differences with everything. But also, even once you've, just finding people is the hardest part, because you don't know who's reputable and who's not. But once you narrow it down and you take your suggestions, you check your reviews and do that, and you narrow it down to people that you've called out, now you got to go for your gut and your vibe, and what kind of vibe you get from them and how they feel. Then when you're looking at the estimates you get, you got to compare them with what are they doing. And because they're going to be off, they're going to be different. And then there's other details that you brought to my attention. And this happens a lot in other trades as well, including plumbing.
Yes.
And that is the people that are out there that are coming out. You may have an estimator.
Yeah.
Or, he's the guy who comes out and just gives the quotes on it. What kind of hand do they have in it?
Correct. So let's say you call a painter and cool, they schedule you, they come out. The guy that comes out is not always the painter. So the guy that come out, he can just be the manager. He could be just solely an estimator where he's selling the job. Kind of like those exterior guys that just go door to door, sell a job, and you got a random crew on your roof.
Are those the storm chasers?
Storm chasers.
Yeah.
So you got to be worried about that for your interior painters as well. So this could be a question for them before they even get to your house, is do they use subcontractors or are these actual employees?
That happens with plumbers. I've seen there's plumbing companies out there that use subcontractors, and that is a concern because if anything does go sideways, who's liable?
Yes, so that's the concern. So really it depends on the scope of work. So these big commercial guys, those guys use subcontractors all day. That's normal. But for when you're into your homeowners, you're into your own personal house,
right?
You want one crew that works with the same manager every day. Ask them about what kind of problems do they have and how do they overcome these problems. Because you want the guy that's the estimator, managing the crews, or working in the crew. So you want him part of the team. You don't want him just selling you the job unless it's some crazy reputable company and you're trusting it.
Okay, so what would be, when you say when you're hiring a painter, you're looking for make sure they're employees and not subcontractors. Now, you were saying that what are some other things you should look for?
Insurance.
Insurance
is a big one.
There is no licensing for
painters. There is no licensing for painters. So really insurance.
What about certifications? Is there industry?
There's industry standards,
right? But I mean, are there industry? I want to say,
like certificates.
Yes, that's what I was getting at. Like certificates or certifications.
There's like a Painting of America that you can get certified through different types of paints.
Okay.
So that's when you're asking for your epoxy coatings. Are they certified on epoxy coatings?
Okay.
That's usually your specialized finishes. When you're talking interior painting, there really isn't any.
So none of the big paint manufacturers
that's what makes it so scary about hiring interior painters. You got to make sure he's been doing this.
So somebody could essentially just grab somebody on there, and like I said, I always say this about social media is, I could put up starting a company is as easy as throwing out a Facebook page.
Yeah, it is.
That's pretty much what it is.
People start up a Facebook page, maybe they just quit their company and they think they're going to start up a Facebook page. So the time lapse on their Facebook is big. So look at the timestamp. Is it all brand new?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a couple years old? Do they have reviews from 5 years ago?
Right.
That is that's gonna be your personal opinion if you want that kind of company. Some people are just like, I just want my garage painted.
But the argument
doesn't matter.
The argument can be made. Well, you got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere.
And my thing is on that is you do have to start somewhere, and you build up a name as you decide to go out and do it. And we were talking about this last week. You have people that are starting out in the business, whatever business they are, okay? And they decide that they're going to do their own thing. They're going to go off and start their own business, which is great. I am 100% for everybody starting up their own business and taking the entrepreneurial plunge. But there's people who do it because they feel they have something different to offer the industry and whatever field that they're in, that they can make it better and be better than the competition out there. And there's also the ones out there that I think you were referring to on, Watch Who You're Getting, is you get ones that are out there that maybe bounced around to a bunch of different companies and they couldn't make it as an employee. So now they're going to go off and do it and work for themselves, which now they couldn't answer to a boss. Now they got to answer to the boss, which is the homeowner. And that may not be, they may be great at what they do. It's just there's other nuances of what they're doing that may not work well with homeowners. So,
correct. So that's you got to really judge that for when they're in your home.
Yes.
Are they nervous?
Yeah.
Are they measuring every inch on your walls?
Yeah.
Are they comfortable inside your home talking with you? Because it's a conversation.
But it also
for your color, for your
phone. Are they going to be there? What kind of warranties they have?
Exactly. So you're going to judge them all upon that before they even get to your house.
Right.
So now you keep that in the back of your mind. Did they answer their phone? Did they call you back?
You see how scary this is for people.
Yeah. Because you're spending thousands of dollars. You could be spending your whole savings. It's a big investment for everybody. Yeah. Because interior painting, you can range from one room for $600 or your entire house for $12,000. Wow. So really got to judge. When I buy $10 headlight bulbs on Google, I'm looking up the reviews for them.
$12,000 for a whole house?
Oh yeah, of course. When you're painting the walls, ceiling, trim, doors.
Can't you use the same sprayer?
Oh, of course. Same sprayer for everything. But that's as a customer, homeowner, is you want to know what you want before you even call this guy.
I've got a question for you.
Yes.
This is really ridiculous and stupid, but it has bothered me since I was a kid.
Okay.
How much is a good quality gallon of exterior paint?
$65-$70.
Okay.
Per gallon at our discount price.
How much is a can of spray paint?
About $10.
Okay. So let me answer me this. Someone could paint their garage or whatever it is with the $70 gallon of paint, and that spray paint will last longer than that gallon of paint that somebody writes on that garage or wall.
That does happen sometimes. You can use the best paint in the world, but it all comes down to the prep.
You see where I'm getting? I see that. Like, it's the paint is peeling from the garage or whatever, or the building, whatever they painted it with. But the spray paint that they spray painted was probably $4 is actually longer lasting. It's
of course, yeah,
it's lasting longer. So, but
because as soon as you have the painter in your house, you want him pointing out all of these.
You don't like my dumb question
flaws.
You like my dumb question. No, I get where he's going. But yeah, you got to make sure that the people that are coming in are saying exactly what they're going to do, because that's in their proposal. Because all that right there is, when you talk about it not being cheap, all this labor goes into getting you that finished product.
Correct. And you guys want to be partners.
Right.
So you want to be partners with this person that you're hiring. As in, yeah, you kind of got to guide them, too. You guys communicate about where you want them to start in the house. What's he doing first? You're going through all these basic steps with them.
Okay.
And you really got to be partners with them. A lot of homeowners will turn on a contractor saying, "This is your job, just do it." Mm-hmm. When you're asking the right questions, you guys are working towards the same end goal.
Right.
Is you want a perfect paint job.
I got a question for you. If you were hiring a plumber, would you hire, or not a plumber, if you were hiring a painter, would you hire you?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
I paint my own house. I don't hire anybody else.
No, I'm just saying, looking at everything, the criteria that you put out.
Yes.
Everything that you put out, all the information you put out, and all the things you said to look for. Mm-hmm. If you were stepping outside and you were hiring a painter, do you feel you meet the criteria?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
So that's, just kind of learned it over the years. My first couple estimates, I was in there shaking like a leaf on a tree. And then just over the years, over thousands of estimates and thousands of projects, Right. So we kind of have a trail behind us.
Right.
For the last 7 years, you can look back at our reviews, and then they're the same as today.
Right. Well, I always ask the same thing. I go, would I hire me?
Right.
What do you do? Would you hire you? And
as I say, you're really only as good as your last job.
Exactly.
And that's really the mentality I take. So if the last job, things went wrong, you have to learn from them. Because that's how it goes. As things go wrong and you fix them, that's a big judge, is how does a company fix their own mistakes? Granted, you want your company in there during the estimate pointing out all these problematic areas of your home. Say, okay, we got a tall ceiling. We're looking at an 18-foot vaulted ceiling. How is he going to reach the top of that?
Well,
does he not have a ladder? Does he have scaffolding? These are, things that are very important, how they're going to get to the top of your ceiling. A lot of guys just want to try to get your check and get into your house and paint it and figure out those problems later. Those are the guys you're left with a 90% done job.
Well, a lot of these homes have the vaulted ceilings that you are going to need to work safely. So you're going to need, and I'm going to preface it, work safely. You are going to need scaffolding or something that that's going to get you up there to be able to work safely. Now, there are people out there that are makeshifting stuff with two big ladders and planking walking between them.
Correct.
And it's like, this right there is, no. If you can't bear to watch these people work, because I was working on a job at a rehab, and these guys couldn't get, or were too lazy to get power inside the house. So you know what they did? They were working outside. You know what they did?
What's that?
They cut off the plug end of an extension cord, climbed up on the pole that with electricity was feeding into the house, and right before it made the drop, and they connected that into that wiring.
That's honestly pretty.
Yeah.
Wow. That's some ingenuity right there. I'd hire him in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I was
right after you get the insurance claim after you burns down your house.
Well, it was all outside. He was using a sawzall that cuts. I'm like, this is a very brave soul.
So
he must have a deal with God or something. I don't know.
So,
but after we got done working in that bathroom there where we were working inside, because we never did anything outside, just as we walked out of the bathroom, we were done. His ladder comes crashing right through the window.
Oh no!
Oh yeah. It was bad. It was just, that's why we really don't do rehabs anymore. So,
yeah, for us working interior, we've dropped scaffolding and stuff before, and stuff happens.
Yeah.
But it's all about what happens after that.
Right.
Okay, we drop a scaffolding at the floor. Right. It bounces off a tile floor. First thing we do is we're pulling everything back. We're calling the homeowner,
right,
assessing if there's any damage, if there is. If there's not, even if there's not, we're going to tell the homeowner. So you gotta communicate about that during the job.
You're owning it, and that's the main
owning up to your own mistakes and not hiding stuff. You break a tile,
right?
Big deal, But it's all about what they do after that. Do they hide it, or are they telling you about it and going through scenarios of how to fix this?
Well,
call a tile guy, and it's ultimately up to the homeowner what happens. So you can hold them fully responsible for all these details.
So basically,
and say, I'm leaving it up to you.
You want to make sure, obviously you're doing a quality job, respectful of the homeowner's property, and giving them the top quality work that they're paying for.
Yep.
Going through everything, letting them know basically the who, what, when, where, how, and why of how everything's going to go.
Yeah.
So they are fully aware of how this process is going to go. So when they're taking your estimate, they can compare it to other people and know this is what you're getting. And basically, you're not going to hear from me until this is done.
Yeah, so, and that's where insurance steps in, too. Is because a lot of house painters think they don't need insurance. Say, I'm painting your walls and ceilings. What can go wrong? Well, it's not about the paint.
How common is that?
For what?
For painters not to have insurance.
It depends on that guy that just started up. That just started his painting company thinking that he doesn't want to pay $100 a month for his insurance. They're like, hey, I want to make some money before I start paying for insurance and having all this overhead and workman's comp. Because insurance does not mess around. As soon as you're a company, they cost money.
Oh, and it all goes into the cost.
So a lot of people think interior painters don't need insurance, but what the insurance is to protect the homeowner. It protects their items in their house.
Do you know how many times have I said that?
So it protects them. It's not protecting the. It's not protecting the painter. It's going to help pay for your stuff. If they break this, if they drop a ladder, if their paint splashed on your Mona Lisa, what happens next?
Well, if you got a Mona Lisa in the house, that's pretty cool. But I said the same thing. I mean, all these things that I have to charge as a business to get the quality that basically to protect the homeowner, protect ourselves, and to give them the peace of mind that they need, and that they demand, and they should want. It costs money. I mean, I'd love to do things for $50 an hour or whatever, or $50, but I can't. It's just being a business doesn't allow you to do that.
Correct.
But we've got a whole little list of things here that we've got to get to before, so we're going to take a quick break. Here with Tyler Libersher with TL Renovations here on the Prepare to Repair show on WJOL 1340
WJOL.
Welcome back to the Prepare to Repair show. I am your host, Plumber Steve, back here with Tyler Libersher with TL Renovations. I keep saying TNL.
Steve.
I'm sorry, man. I'm doing my best here, okay? It's Monday. I'm trying. I know, and I'm getting... Evan, I'm doing my best here, man, okay?
I'll take you down.
All right, I'm new here. I'm trying here. You know what? Give me a break.
Happens.
Help me out.
It's about a 50-50 chance whether customers call me TL or TN.
There you go. So I want to run through a couple things here real quick because we're running out of time. We spent a lot of time talking about how to get people. Now, there's a couple things that I wanted to ask you about. One, kind of quick answers. What you would say, during an interview process. One, trying to find colors. How do people find colors? What do you recommend for that?
So colors, you really want to listen to the house. So either you can pick out your own basic colors, but there's so many resources nowadays for interior designers. Mm-hmm. So people think it's bougie, maybe out of their realm. Mm-hmm. But if you're picking more than one paint color, you want to get a designer to help you. Because nowadays there's 1.5 million shades of every color you can think of.
Designers are they reasonable out there?
Designers are very reasonable. You can go to your local Sherwin-Williams and get a designer for $120.
Wow. Okay.
And they'll pick out the colors. So they'll pick colors for you and then mail you big samples, little 12 by 12 samples that hang around your house. You know how much cheaper that is than buying a gallon of paint? As we're saying, you know, our gallons are $65 a gallon, and you go and do a bunch of samples. Even their sample quarts are about $10 each. So when you hire a designer, you can actually communicate with them. And some steps before they even get there is to think about what your house wants. Is it earth tones? Is it cool? Is that what you want? You know, because then a designer's going to come in and listen to your house. Okay. They're going to listen to what you're saying, listen to your house, listen to your decorations, and help you pick the right shades. Okay, so you don't get too pastel on them.
That's true. You don't want them to look like
you don't want a little, you know, Hot Wheels room or anything. You want a right shade of blue. So
there you go.
Hire a designer. Really, that's the biggest thing. So you can paint one time in your house.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't even know that they were that reasonable and that was a resource that was available for painting. I thought it was for other one. Okay.
So for our painting services, we offer it. We just include it.
Okay.
So we offer free interior designer to come in and paint your house, because I'd rather pay that $120 instead of buying a gallon and then the customer not liking it.
Makes sense. That's a good idea. Good, you know.
Yeah.
All right, and we've got another one.
Very straightforward.
Here's one thing that I see, and one thing I'm not a fan of, is when people paint on older homes, they'll paint their oak trim, or they'll paint, you know, railings, and I don't know if I'm more traditional, but also I guess this goes for cabinet painting.
Yeah.
What people want
cabinet painting is huge right now. So
it's cheaper than redoing.
Exactly. So that's the thing you're weighing it with, is replacing your cabinets. And replacing cabinets, you have demolition, you have install, you have countertops, you have plumbing, electric. Are you changing layouts?
Right.
So when you're thinking about cabinet painting, again, you got to listen to your house. If that's what you truly want and you want to paint your cabinets, you want to make sure they're sound. They're very strong, sound, wood. You know, if they're peeling, laminated, just not your style. If you don't like the style, there's options to go through with replacing doors and refacing.
Okay.
But as just for cabinet painting itself is has been breaking through lately. So we paint about a set a week, and you know, it looks amazing.
So there's a process that you have to go through it, not just, you know, so you get the durability and it makes it viable, that it's not going to chip in a year.
Yeah. So when you hire a painter, you want to make sure for your cabinets, you hire a cabinet painter, someone with experience. This is definitely something you do not want a first timer spraying your cabinets. And spraying or painting by hand is, you want them sprayed. A lot of people say you can't tell a difference. You can tell a difference.
Okay.
Because we used to brush and roll the boxes and spray the doors, because at the time that was efficient for us. As we hang up the doors and we learn, it's not the same.
Right.
It changes the sheen. It looks a little bit different. So now we spray everything. So even before you start spraying, you want the prep work. So you hire your cabinet painter. What are they prepping? Are they covering all your entire house in plastic, paper? Because when they're spraying, that dust goes everywhere.
You need me? I can do it.
It settles.
The windows, everything.
Yeah, you'll paint our windows, and then we got the rest.
All the contents in the cabinets. You let me know.
Yes.
I will get it done for you.
So a quality cabinet painter. Let's say he arrives at your house. He's going to want to take your doors.
You said quality. Okay.
Quality.
I'm out.
So you're out of here. So you're going to go back home and scrape your windows.
Go play with, you stick to what you do, Steve. You go play with water.
So you hire a quality cabinet painter. He's going to want to take the doors and drawers back to his shop.
Okay.
So he is going to go do a spray finish back in the shop. You don't want him inside your garage.
Okay.
Taking over your garage. That's just potential for more hazards.
Now, is that normal to take these off, take them back to the shop?
Yes, it is. A lot of people without a shop want to do it in your garage. And then some people just do it right in your living room. And you're going to have a crazy cleanup.
Okay, I'm joking about, painting, doing spray paint and everything, me doing it. Because if I'm painting, things went terribly wrong professionally. I'm just letting you know that.
Yeah.
So,
with the sanding process, they don't have to strip cabinets to be able to make their primer stick. It's more of a degloss, where they're trying to sand through the clear coat of your cabinets. So we're assuming these are wood stained cabinets. There's obviously different types of woods. The different types of woods don't matter for your paint. So it could be oak, maple, knotty alder,
But you go through this process with the homeowner.
Yes. So when they arrive, they're going to go through this process. They're going to tell you all about their process, how they sand it, how they clean it, using degreasers, mineral spirits to wipe this stuff down with. And so, while they're in there talking to you, sometimes it's a little overwhelming because they're giving you so much information. So always ask this in writing. This should be in their contract. Cabinet painting, you expect it to last 10, 15, 20 years.
Is that durable, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's using their lacquers. So don't let people use trim enamels on your cabinets. That's the biggest mistake. Just because it says cabinets and it's a latex, you don't want it.
Okay.
Because over time, cabinets, you're touching them constantly, every single day, multiple times a day. Open, close, and latex enamels will start to gum up over time. So that's why there's now water-based lacquers. So old school lacquers will turn orange or yellow over time. Water-based lacquers stay their true colors. And what a water-based lacquer is, it's a tinted clear coat. So they still do their sanding, cleaning, 2 oil primers. So you always want 2 oil primer coats, whether it's a shellac or an actual oil primer. No water-based. Because when you use water-based primers, tannins tend to bleed through, which they do on every piece of wood. So it's got to be oil primers and then 2 lacquer top coats. So it's a 4-coat system for your cabinets for a standard paint job. Don't accept anything less. Don't accept anything more.
And this is going to save a boatload of money over going through new cabinets and everything.
If you're advanced, you can ask them what type of sprayers are they using. Right. I want that in the contract. What type of sprayer are you using?
And you go through all this with your customers and everything, so that's something that they're going to get from you.
So that's what they get from me when I arrive at their house.
Okay.
I talk very deeply about their cabinets, and I translate it to words on a piece of paper on our contract for them to read over, so they know they have a safe of mind. If we show up,
this is overwhelming, right? I'm not cutting you out. I'm just saying because for you're telling me, I'm saying when I said right off the bat when we started this show that this is the simplest thing, the people that find so simple that it's actually one of the most difficult that goes into it, because the product that you're expecting. Yep. And when I always tell people, and I've said it on this show a ton of times, when people get mad about products not doing what they're supposed to do, 9 times out of 10, it's not being used per manufacturer's specs, and they're used in a wrong application. It's not done right, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Not done right. And that will cost a homeowner a lot of money.
Right.
If they hire, an inexperienced painter without insurance, nothing to cover the homeowner. And so you're going to know. As soon as this guy comes in and starts talking about your cabinets, you should know, at least. If this guy knows what he's talking about or if he's guessing.
I've seen some people out there who've had some bad experiences with cabinet painting. That's why I wanted to bring this up.
Ask them how long the project is going to take. Our cabinet painting takes 7 to 8 days. They got to respect the dry times. Right. When someone tells you 1 to 2 days, they're not letting their primer dry overnight. Well, so people also think you have to sand in between coats. That's not fully true. Right. So it's usually the 2 primer coats, and then you're
just giving away all your secrets here.
I know. I think everyone's going to start painting cabinets now.
No. Well,
so
you're going to. You can give them the recipe, and you still won't get the same product.
No. I had the same recipe years ago, and I've used them wrong before too.
Right.
And that's how you learn. And I painted my own cabinets.
Now, I've got a question for you regarding painting, and this is off of this, and we're going to probably wrap up with this real quick. When you go in old houses, some of these have hazards, such as lead paint and running into that. What do you do when you're running into those? So,
as a homeowner, you're going to want to know your house has lead paint before you even call somebody. Mm-hmm. So, that's you understanding the age of your home, which any home before 1978, generally lead paint. So when you know you have an old home, you're going to want to ask your painter, check for lead. Say, hey, this is lead paint. Right. So that's doing your due diligence of knowing your house before you even call anybody. Because you can call people, but do your homework. Even after they talk to you and say, hey, this is lead paint. Oh, my God, this is all going to fall off.
Well, I'm more worried about any kind of sanding or prep or anything like that.
Correct.
Becoming airborne.
So if someone even mentions lead paint in your home, there's tests readily available. Order them on Amazon. It'll come tomorrow.
Do you test?
Might come in 35 minutes if you order on Amazon.
Yeah, you're right. Do you test then? Do you test before you do anything in older houses?
Yeah, we can tell. I can tell just by looking and feeling paint that if it's lead paint, oil-based paints. I can tell by looking and feeling.
And you prep for the hazards and everything.
Yeah. Right? So then before we start this job, we're gonna stop by and say, hey, we have a concern that this is either oil base or lead paint, and that matters. If your house is a little bit older, might have an oil-based paint, they cannot take a latex and just go right over the top of it. They will all fall off.
We can go on this forever on this.
Yeah.
Now,
cabinet painting.
Exactly. So. If people want to reach out to you and they want to hire you and basically evaluate their home, how would they get in touch with you?
Right on Facebook. So Facebook, we're all over it, TL Renovations. And we have a shop right here in Joliet. We've been spraying cabinets out of for 7 years now, and we love painting. Me and all of our employees absolutely love it.
Well, I appreciate you being on and being candid and giving us all the information. I want to thank everybody for listening, and do head out to Ferguson Supply for all your kitchen, bath, lighting, and appliance needs. Your dream kitchen and bathroom is as close as Tinley Park. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and we will catch you again next week.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you.